Hi y'all, it's Karma here. Today we're going to be doing a crystal grid for communication. Communication is one of those things in our life that I think all of us continue to work on over and over and over again. And this grid will help us to realize that communication has two parts. One is listening to the other person with love and compassion, and the other is being able to communicate clearly for the betterment of the relationship, knowing when to compromise and when not. That communication with compassion and wisdom. So today I've chosen the Flower of Life wooden grid here, and this is the Lotus Flower Mandala. It is known to bring balance and harmony. It helps us to purify our thoughts and our mind as we head towards enlightenment. And enlightenment is just a way to say that we're able to see things for the way they really are, that our own stories won't get involved, and we'll be able to see the situation, hear the person for what they're trying to communicate, and then be able to communicate back effectively and purposefully. So I already took the time and cleared the stones out in the full moonlight, the last full moon, as well as cleared them with the smoke of sage. So the stones have already been done. Today I chose a white candle. This is actually a sugar candle, but I chose white for its purity and for the communication, the purity and communication, I guess, so that we can see what's true and pure in our hearts and others. Then we're going to use Palo Santo to clear our space and ourself. And Palo Santo is native to Peru, Ecuador, and other Southern American countries. It's known as the holy wood, and it's been used for thousands of years for medicinal purposes, to treat pain and stress, and to clear negative energy. So we're just going to clear the area. This is our focal stone that we're going to use, so I'm going to clear it again with the Palo Santo. You can see I also have the Selenite tower here. The Selenite tower will help to amplify any of the stones that we use in the grid. It's just a moment and take a deep breath as we begin to clear our space and then set our intentions for our communication grid. And next we have our intention statement for the grid. I listen with compassion and wisdom and communicate openly and clearly share my thoughts and feelings with ease. We're going to set this down right here underneath our focal stone. And for our focal stone, I chose a sphere because sphere can radiate the energy in all directions at once. I chose a rose quartz because rose quartz is a stone of universal love, and we know that communication only comes through true unconditional love. Help this rose quartz to restore trust and harmony in our relationships, to encourage unconditional love and good communication. Help it to purify and open our heart at all levels to promote love, both self-love, friendship, and deeper love in all levels. Help us to have healing and find feelings of peace. Help us to be calmed and reassured, and to find comfort in times of grief. Help it to dispel negativity and protect us against environmental pollution so that we might be able to communicate well and help all those around us to communicate as well. And the first way stones that I've chosen are red jasper polished hearts. And I've chosen quite a few polished hearts for this grid because, again, communication comes so much better and easier with love. And so the hearts will remind us of that. Now, red jasper is said to increase emotional focus and balance. So with this red jasper, we ask that any negative energy, any worry, emotional stress, or confusion be removed, that our anxious moods, emotional frustrations, our general mood balancing be cleared, so that we can have the clarity of thought and be able to communicate clearly our thoughts and understand others' thoughts and emotions clearly. Help it to increase our emotional stamina, bring us self-confidence, self-trust, emotional protection, balance, calm, relaxation, and courage to be able to communicate effectively. And next I've chosen, again polished hearts, some blue lace agate. Blue lace agate is known as the stone of articulation, and it goes with the throat chakra. So to help unblock our throat chakra, we want it to stimulate our throat chakra and help us to communicate clearly and effectively. We need to remember that words are powerful, and so we need to use them correctly. The blue lace agate will teach us the importance of choosing the right words and the right time so that we can be more persuasive and assertive. This will help us in all forms of communication, written as well as spoken, as well as our body language. Blue lace agate will help to support our integrity, because only with high integrity can we have good and fruitful communication. And next I chose some small polished amethyst hearts. With this amethyst, help it to increase our nobility, our spiritual awareness, our psychic abilities, bring us inner peace and healing of the body, mind, and soul. Help to take any negative energy or any ill will wished upon us from others and transform that into positive. Guard us against any attacks that others might wish for us, and help us to be able to transmute that negative energy into love. Help us to facilitate our decision making with common sense and spiritual insights, to infuse our decisions with things that we might not have previously taken into consideration. Dispel any anger or rage that we feel towards those that we are wanting to communicate with, and release any fear and anxiety that we may have towards this communication or towards them, so that we may have a peaceful, open communication that's in the highest good for everyone involved. And then I wanted to use just a few more waystones of the large polished hearts of quartz crystal, bringing in feminine energy of this soft stone, unconditional love, bringing with it the energy of compassion and peace, tenderness and healing, comfort and nourishment. Let it speak directly to our heart, dissolving any emotional wounds, fears, and resentments that we may hold towards others, and circulate a divine, loving power of energy and love, so that we may see solutions to problems that we haven't seen before and be able to communicate those effectively to resolve situations in a positive light. Then, as some of our desire stones, I'm using Moroccan turquoise. This turquoise is meant to be protective, to protect this grid, to protect the communications that we are seeking to have. Bring us solace of our spirit and well-being for the body, enhance our communication, bring us the tranquility necessary to be able to communicate effectively. Help it to dispel any negative energy that's in the room or that's around us as we try to communicate, and instill a calm, peaceful nature while still being alert and able to respond during any communications that are happening. And another desire stone, I'm using raw black tourmaline. Shamans have been using tourmaline in their healing practices for thousands of years. Interestingly, it can be charged electrically by heating or rubbing when it's charged. It has both positive and negative sides, like a magnet, much like our communication has both positive and negative sides. So the black tourmaline I set to use for balance, to balance our 7 chakras, to bring us good luck and protection, and to ward off negative energy. Help it to ground us and make us be present and mindful during any communication that we may be having. And as the last desire stones, I chose Madagascar clear quartz points to amplify any of the properties of the other stones in our grid and to help to energize their properties as well. Also, the clear crystal points, I believe, helps us to remember that we're looking for the highest communications, the purest communications with everyone's best interest at hand. Help us to remember to look at all of those things that we might not have taken into consideration before, and to have clarity in our heart and in our mind so that we are able to communicate clearly with love, compassion, and wisdom. And for the herbs for this communication grid, I decided to use the petals of roses, calendula, and lavender. So with these petals, the rose petals remind us of love and compassion, to spread kind words. With the calendula, it's known to dispel gossip and to help us to remain grateful and thankful for all that we have and to cherish the relationships. With the lavender, help us to remain pure, to know when to be silent and when to speak, and to always show up with grace. And I'm going to finish with a sage smudge, using the sage as part of my herbs for the grid, because sage brings knowledge, healing, peace, and wisdom. So I'm going to visualize all the things that we've said about all the stones, along with the wisdom that the sage brings, and the smoke as it wafts around. And my thoughts are, I communicate with ease. I am honest with myself and others. I am able to listen with compassion and wisdom. I resolve my challenges with creativity, compromise, and discerning wisdom, so that I am at peace. I bring the best to myself and to all those who are around me, bringing a calm, peaceful presence and the ability to resolve all complications that we may face. And to activate the grid, I'm going to use a selenite wand. Remember, selenite, when it touches any crystals, will purify them, as well as it amplifies their energy. So I'm going to start with the focal stone. Actually, first, let me hold it in my hands and just imagine the energy amplifying the energy of the things we've asked in our prayers of the stones that are already on the grid today. And starting with the focal stone, the rose quartz, starting with pure love to ourselves and others. And now I'm going to connect the stones as I activate the grid, connecting all of the special properties that we've discussed together. And I'm going to give you just a moment to think about the situations that you're in. Help us to find resolutions to any of the complicated situations that we're in. Help us to find ways to communicate and to overcome any obstacles that we might not have been able to overcome before. Help us to see resolutions that we might not have seen before, and to understand other people's point of views as well as our own. To be able to be mindful and to listen with compassion and wisdom. I hope this grid brings you the peace that you're looking for and the ability to communicate and resolve any of the situations that you're looking to resolve. If you would like your name added to this grid, please comment below with your name, and I'll do a special little prayer and add your name to the grid. I usually leave these up for at least a month on my altar. If you haven't already, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our natural healing community. Come back often to the channel where you can say, Karma's your friend. Bye, y'all, and have an amazing day.